What's going on, my fellow nerds? Today we are going to be talking about a PSA submission that we're going to be doing. So I got 20 cards to get graded here, 5 of my own personal card, and then 15 from my buddy who's been opening a ton of Terastal Festival. So we're going to be going ahead and getting some of those cards graded as well as my cards. And if you recognize this video from, this card from my intro in the videos that I've been doing lately, yes, that is that card that we pulled in that pack. So we're going to be going ahead and getting this card graded. I don't think this is a 10 at all. As you can see, there's something going on in that corner. There's a ding there, you know. Centering is slightly off left to right. Top to bottom, it looks pretty solid, but you can see some very small dings on the top of the card from packaging. And then if you look at a closer look, you know, you can see some whitening on the back of this card. So I think that this card is going to get a PSA 8. Be pretty negative, to be honest. This is probably a PSA 8. Why would I grade this if it's a PSA 8? Well, it's a cool card. Charizard obviously will always go up in value, so I think it's worth getting graded. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. I'm going to put the values of PSA 10, 9, and 8 probably here. So we'll go with that. All right, my next card, another one from the intro, is this Zamazenta V special illustration rare from Crown Zenith. So does that mean it's special? Yeah, so this is a special illustration rare, not an SAR. So this card, honestly, it's not worth a whole lot. Obviously, it'll be here again in PSA 10, 8, 9, and 8. And it's a beautiful card to me. Not worth a whole lot, but here we go. Centering looks pretty solid on this card. A little off top to bottom and maybe left to right there, but I still think that's within PSA 10 standards in terms of centering. Maybe some small dings on the edges. It's really hard to grade these cards with that. You know, when they cut the cards, it almost seems like as the lip around the edge of the card lifts. I don't know if anybody agrees with me with that. But if you look at the back of this card, it looks very clean. Maybe a small ding in that corner there. But, you know, I think this card is a solid contender for a PSA 10. Honestly, upon me looking at it right now, I'm going to be optimistic on this one, and I'm going to hope that this gets a PSA 10. So, it's a PSA 10 locked in, so we got an 8 on the Charizard, 10 on the Zamazenta. Next, also on the channel, I think, I pulled this Cresselia, and this card's from SFA. What's FA? FA. Anyways, while I'm lagging here, I'll probably put what set this is from in the video, but as you can see, there is some edge wear here, and that looks like it's from a bad cut. So you can almost see it's like past the actual edge of the card there. So I'm interested to see what PSA does with that. It doesn't seem like, yeah, see, if you look at the edge there, it looks solid minus that weird, like, bad cut. It is off-center left to right. Top to bottom looks pretty solid. But again, on this card, you do have some very nice corners. Like, look at that. The back looks very nice on this card. So, I mean, minus this flaw here, I think it's a very solid contender for a 10. Minus that centering. So, I think that this is probably going to be a PSA 9. And again, getting this card graded because really cool artwork. I love Cresselia as a Pokemon. Not in too many sets, it seems like, or at least they don't really do many artworks. But the next two cards here are very interesting. So these are the Metal Mew EX cards. Yes, this card is metal, and you know, obviously that's kind of why it looks a little fake. So I'm going to pull it out here. And the back of the card especially looks fake. But this is a actual Pokemon card. And I bought a couple of these on eBay for, I don't know, maybe $10 to $15. Just to see. Wanted to get them graded in a 10 because, I mean, cool cards like this are unique. And, yeah. I mean, the front of this card looks good. I feel like with the metal, it's harder for there to be errors on these. The only thing it could be would be print related, I feel like, you know, or if you just tossed around in a box or something. But, you know, the edges on this one look great, but there is definitely some, like, there's like a speck here on the card, if you can see that. And then there is a speck there. It's a little more obvious. Yeah, you can see it there on the video. On the Pokeball there. So, I mean, I honestly think that even though that's there, this is still a PSA 10 candidate. So I'm going to be optimistic and call this a PSA 10. And the next one is the exact same card. Bought two just to hope that one got graded in a 10. And I think this one's less likely to get a 10, and I'll explain why. Front looks good on this one. Seems like the back of these has the most issues, and it almost looks like this corner's like bent a little. So there might be there. And then this edge here, let's see if I can get it to focus. Yeah, see, I can see some metal along that edge. So I think this will get a PSA 9 just for that print error. But we'll see what we get. Obviously, I'll have the valuations of each card there. And now we're going into my friend's cards. So he has a bunch of Japanese Terastal Festival cards we're going to be looking at today. And let's see, I guess I'll go out of order, that's fine. But the first one here is the Roaring Skies EX. And this is a beautiful card, as you can see. Now, the problem that I had with these cards for grading is a lot of these have very bad cuts. And that surprised me because Japanese cards are usually in much better condition. I mean, look at the front of this card. I mean, it looks perfect, you know? But then you look at the back. Maybe this wasn't one of the cards that had that issue, but like this card is almost perfect. I don't see any flaws on this. I am pretty confident that this card will get a PSA 10. All right, we'll get into the next one here. And this card, of course, being English and very difficult to grade these gold energy cards, but this is a really cool card from Obsidian Flames. I personally love these gold energy cards, and, you know, they're collectible because they make a bunch of them. I had the Psychic gold card from Chilling Reign, and I sold that for $80. So, and it was in a PSA 10. So, not too bad there. So, this card here, centering wise, looks like we're a little bit thicker on the left to the right and a little bit thicker from the bottom to the top. Pretty obvious, especially the top to bottom here. Looks like there might be a little ding right there, maybe in the corner here. I mean, English cards are just brutal. And then you got a ding in the corner there. And some edge wear here, if you can see that. And then a ding in the corner. Let's see here. Based off the condition of this card, I'm going to guess that this is in the 8 to 9 range. But I'm going to be optimistic and give this a 9. So we'll go ahead and put the value of that up on the screen there. And then from nope, this is the Surging Sparks version in the Japanese, whatever it's called. The Pikachu EX here, cool card. And again, with the centering on the Japanese cards, I mean, this has really nice centering on it. Looks like you do like a bad cut here. You can see some like fuzz fray in the top there. So I'm not really sure what PSA will say about that. But other than that, this card looks beautiful. I want to be optimistic, and I'm going to call this a PSA 10. Next, we got another English card. This is from Surging Sparks, I believe, is the cast form card. In English card, you know, you get your typical problems. You got left to right centering here. Top to bottom looks good. Looks like we got a ding from packaging in the corner. And some strange, let me see if this will focus on it. Interesting, like almost indentation in the corner there. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Speck of whitening in that corner. This corner looks beautiful. And beautiful corner and a beautiful corner. So I'm going to say based off the centering, this is going to get a PSA 9. But, you know, we could be optimistic. I think it does fall within the 60-40. So it's going to get a 9 or 10. So obviously I know that's not an exact number, but I think with the corners, we're going to get a PSA 9 on this. All right, next up we got a Ninetales from Obsidian Flames. Beautiful card here. This is the special illustration rare, I believe. And the centering on this card looks pretty nice. A little bit thicker on the right to the left, but I don't think it is different enough to call it out as a 9 in the centering department. We do have a speck of whitening in the top left corner there, as well as the top, or the bottom left and the bottom right. Very small on the bottom right. Very small on the bottom left. You know, again, this is a card that I think Depending on who's grading that day, it'll get a 9 or a 10. I think this will get a PSA 9. If I were the grade, I'd give it a 9, to be honest. Sorry, Caleb. Alrighty, next card. We got a couple of these Pikachu cards, because believe it or not, these going around for $50. Obviously, I'll put the price here, but $50 in a PSA 10, so we got 3 of them to get graded for Caleb here. And this card here, very off-center, left to right. So, you know, again, based off who's grading is the grade is going to get, but I think based off the centering, we're going to get a 9. And we do have a speck of whitening in that corner, but the other 3 look great. So I think this is going to be a PSA 9. And then we got another one here. Again, same problem, like Surging Sparks. Right? Is that what this is from? It says Mew in the corner. I believe this is Surging Sparks. No, this is 151. These are 151 Pikachus. Right. Anyways, very off-center on these. But the back of the card looks pretty nice. Off-center left to right. So I believe that this card will also get a PSA 9. That centering hopefully isn't bad enough to get an 8. That would be sad. Centering on this one, much better. And the front of the card looks much better. Looks like there's a little cut issue, top left. Let's see, ding in the corner. Looks like we might have a little ding on top there. But otherwise, a very nice looking card. I might have to sneeze. Hopefully that wasn't too loud into the mic. This card, I believe, is PSA 10 gradable, depending on who's grading that day. So I'm going to give the third Pikachu a 10. So I just got to remember to put the better condition card third. I mean, it'll be pretty obvious to tell between the centering. Next, we got some bangers from Terastal. I can't say that word. Festival. Bangers. Some bangers. We got Jolteon SAR to start here. Off-center left to right, surprisingly, for the Japanese card. And some interesting cut issues on the tops of most of these. So again, I think it's up to who is grading this day to really, because I mean, the back of this, I mean, ding in the corner. Some interesting stuff going on the bottom there. So I'm going to say that this is going to get a PSA 9, but we're hoping for a 10, obviously. Next, we got a Glaceon EX SAR. It's crazy for what these cards are selling for on a brand new set. Again, some interesting cut issues on the top there. You can almost see some like weird almost indentations along the top. It's very difficult to see on the camera. Yeah, you can see it there though. I mean, if I were grading these, I don't know what I would give these, because the back looks beautiful on this, but then there's just that strange issue there, and it is slightly off center left to right. I would say it's a toss-up between a 9 and 10 on this card. All right, we got 2 of these Leafeon EX SARs. And again, this card, this one actually has pretty good cut. It's a little rough, but like not as bad as some of the other ones. The Umbreon, spoiler alert, is the worst one that he has in terms of that cutting. So I don't think that one will get a PSA 10. But this Leafeon, I think, is a solid contender for PSA 10. This one definitely has that cutting issue. If I can get it to focus, like you can see definitely right there and right here, there's definitely some cutting issues with this new set. Centering looks good. Corners look good. Yeah, you can, like, it almost looks like indents. But this card, I think, will get a PSA 9 with those cutting issues. All right, Sylveon here, again, has the same issue with the cutting. Centering's off left to right, just a small amount. But otherwise, it's a beautiful card. I think this is a solid contender for a PSA 10. Toss-up between a 9 and 10. Now, we got 2 Latios illustration rares from, Surging Sparks. And honestly, of course, the other one is more valuable, I think, the Latios card. But I still think these are awesome cards here because they go perfectly together. Same artwork. I think that they're awesome. Kind of reminds me of the heart-shaped Latios and Latios tag team card from the Sun and Moon era. But anyways, we got 2 of these. Centering issues for sure. I mean, this right corner is like way up there, but then it's better in the left, left to right. Slightly off, top to bottom. But yeah, the back is a little dinged up. I would say this is a PSA 9. Here's the second one. Same exact centering issue, like it was on the same sheet. And top to bottom is definitely worse on this one than the other one, I think. Some interesting corner stuff going on. On the front, ding in that corner, ding in this bottom right corner. Honestly, I'd be a very aggressive PSA grader. I would not hand out many 10s because like there's just so many cards where I'm like, I mean, it's not a 10. They did a little ding in this corner, but they might even miss that. And then there's a ding in this corner. I think this has a higher chance at a 10, but with the centering, I think this will also be a PSA 9. So, alrighty, sorry for probably rudely interrupting myself, but I did message Kayla back about the 5 cards that I forgot. And here we go. So I picked them up. This is the Umbreon card. You know, probably 300 plus raw, but again, as I was saying in the video at some point, could be in the future, could be in the past of the video. I don't know where I'm going to put this in yet, but you can see all this edge wear here just from a bad cut. Now, it is unfortunately the most prevalent on this card out of all the cards he got. So I'm not really sure how PSA will deal with this card, but otherwise this card is in perfect condition. So my guess is they'll knock it down to probably I'm going to guess an 8 or 9, but we'll see. And then he's got the Umbreon regular Pokeball to go with it, not the Master. Oh, okay. And there goes this knockdown box. PSA 10 gone. Can you stay, please? All right. Umbreon. Regular Pokeball here. I love the pattern on this card. But this card here, it has that same edge wear in this bottom corner. If you look closely there. As well as it's off center left to right. So I'm going to say this is a PSA 9. All right, you got Cleffa here. English card. Front looks very good on it. Good centering. Let's take a look at the back. Back on English cards is always the downfall. Yep, here we go. 2 dings in the 2 corners there. I'd say depending on who grades, this is getting a 9 or a 10. Usually, if it has ding in 2 corners, it should get a 9. So I'm going to say this is a PSA 9. All right, War Turtle here. Centering is a little off left to right and top to bottom, very minutely. And corner ding there, and a very small one in this top corner. Yeah, you can definitely see that on the camera. And then there's like a weird edge wear here. Let me see. Yep, you can kind of see it there. I'm going to say that this also gets a PSA 9. All right, then we got EV here, very off-center left to right. Everything else looks pretty good on it. It does have that weird cut issue on the bottom. It's like this whole print run of wherever he got this box has that issue. I'm going to say that this, with that centering, is going to be a PSA 9. Please remember to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.